What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. For those of you who are new, welcome. This is Michael Knapp Fishing. I'm Michael Knapp, obviously. We're going to go over the 2020 Big Bass Tour on Douglas Lake today. It wasn't a very good tournament for me, but I promised you all a recap, so that's what we're going to do today. We're going to get into a recap now, so let's go, guys. Promised you guys that we would have on the water video and everything. I promised y'all that before we saw the forecast for this tournament. It was a terrible weather tournament. Friday was the only nice day that we had on the water, and I put up a big stinking 0 on Friday. So that's why there's no film from that. Saturday, it was bad. Saturday was bad. We actually, we called it quits around 11:30, 12 o'clock. We couldn't see any longer. It wasn't safe traveling down the water. So my brother-in-law and I made the decision to go ahead and call it quits. So that's why there wasn't any video from those days. Sunday, we did have a decent day. It rained for quite a little while in the morning for about an hour or two, and then it stopped. It let up, and I just plain forgot to put the camera out, and that was my fault. You know, I told you guys in one of the previous videos, I've never actually filmed during a tournament. So I wasn't 100% sure of how I was going to do that, if I was going to be able to do it, and my mindset just bugs everywhere. My mindset just wasn't there completely for the tournament and to be filming and all that jazz. So my apologies there. But I'm going to go over just real quick what was going on. We're in that fall transition period. Those fish are starting to move up. They are... Well, a lot of them are already moved up into the coves, and they have corralled all that shad. And when I say shad, I'm talking massive balls of shad. A lot bigger balls of shad than I was anticipating. I wasn't really ready for the struggle that we were going to have. I knew that for the tournament we were going to be able to get there. I could locate those schools, and I would be able to fish those and be able to catch some fish out. Or at least that's what I thought I was going to be able to do. You know, fishing's fishing. It's not called catching, it's called fishing. And this is the quickest way to be humbled in the sport of fishing. We went out there on Friday. I have to try to remember what days the tournament was. Friday was day one. And I had the go big or go home mentality, and that was all I was doing. I was throwing Huddleston Deluxe 68 swim baits, you know, big swim baits. I was after big fish. I was throwing I'm a Little Stick 135s, you know, big walking baits, big 130 whopper ploppers. I was going big. Friday, I knew Friday I wasn't going to get bit a whole lot. I was out Friday for one bite, and that was it, just one. It is what it is. You know, it bit me in the butt. I learned from Friday. So Saturday we adjusted. Saturday we adjusted our tournament plan to where after I did a lot of scanning on Friday during the tournament, I found out that they were all moved in completely. We had nice, a lot of cool nights that was able to push them back really well. There were still some fish out deep, but not so deep that they weren't at least up a little bit feeding. The deepest that we fished was about 17 feet. We didn't go any deeper than that, really. But our bread and butter was in that 8 to 12 foot range. But anyway, so we're going to actually break down what all we actually caught, because Friday and Saturday was terrible. Saturday, we only caught a couple fish. Sunday is when we did all of our damage. Sunday is when Cody and I felt we had the best bet to cash a check. Caught lots of fish on Sunday. Cody caught a bunch of fish that weren't even the right species, but we got on a pattern Sunday. We found our bass. We just couldn't get anything over 3 pounds to cash a check. That was kind of the kicker. But I'm going to show you all what we were doing, because this is a technique that we haven't actually gone over on the channel yet. So we're going to go over that in another video that I'll film. I'll try and film on the water so that you can actually see me fish it a little bit more. And the technique that we used was a shaky head. This is what did all of our damage. Well, I'll show you the other one. They're both shaky heads. But this was the bait that I did all of my damage on. I used the same bait. I just used 2 different colors in correlation to each other. Just kind of rotated them in and out. So these were the 2 shaky heads that I used the most. This is the, they are both, Woo Tungsten, shaky heads. They are tungsten shaky heads. I only use tungsten during tournaments, just for the sensitivity purposes. And they do have a screw lock, which is one of the many reasons why I love them. Let me see if I can get it to focus for you. Is it going to do it? Maybe not. Well, either way, you all get it. You can see the screw hook there. All right. So, that was my go-to bait. You know, that's what I was able to catch all my fish on, was a shaky head. And once we figured out that pattern, we went to work. At one point, Cody, my brother-in-law Cody, looked up at my deck, and I had 2 rods on deck. And I'm actually going to go over the exact setups that I used for this also. And he goes, "Are you that sure that that's what we're doing?" And I just kind of looked at him and said, "Yeah, trust me. Shaky head it is." So, but anyway, the baits that I was using, they're the same worms. I'm not going to take the other one off the hook. But this is a X-Zone Lures Deception Worm. This is the plum. I want to say plum, maybe. I can't remember. I'll link it down in the description below, the exact color. I'm like 99.9% sure it's plum. But the cool thing about the X-Zone Deception Worm, as a lot of their baits, they have a floating aspect to them. So, as you know, with a shaky head, here, I'll just grab the one that's already rigged up. You know, a shaky head, it goes down in the water, and it's actually going to set down on the bottom like so. And it already kind of gives the bait a little notion to stay up. But with a floating tail, like the X-Zone Deception Worm, it sits on the bottom and that tail goes up. And then as you shake your rod, that tail just shakes. And it was a killer presentation during the tournament, and that was what got all of our bites for us. Lots of 2s and 2.5s, just nothing to actually take to weigh in to be able to, you know, get on the board. But it's a finesse presentation, a finesse technique that I don't feel like gets a lot of glory like it should. It's one of my favorite presentations when we go down to finesse. I don't like to throw a spinning rod ever. Like, I don't want to. I don't like to. So, but when I have to, this is one of my favorite ways to do it. So, one of the things that, you know, really makes for a good shaky head setup is you've got to have a good rod. I'm trying to get these hooks up so I don't hook myself real quick. You have to have a good spinning rod to have a good shaky head presentation. You want something that is going to be ultra sensitive, but still going to have backbone in it and some tip that you're going to be able to really set that hook and drive it in there, because it's one of the few finesse presentations out there that you actually still have to drive that hook through the plastic. So these are my setups. This is a obviously everybody knows I use Old 18. Old 18 is my rod sponsor. This is a Old 18 hollow point here. It is a 7'3" medium action. It's a fast tip. The reason why I like this so much is it is a longer rod, and it can actually throw up to a much larger shaky head than most spinning rods can. This can actually throw up to a 3/4 of an ounce shaky head on a spinning rod. I'd never throw a true shaky head that large, but it did allow me to be able to go up to a 3/8 ounce shaky head, because my other rod, It can throw a 3/8 ounce, but it isn't quite as long, and I use it for smaller shaky heads. But so this is the rod that I was using, 7'3" medium. I pair it with this is a Daiwa Regal Spinning Rod. This is the 2500 series. I'm trying to get this out here for you so you can kind of see it a little bit more. It's a great all-around reel. It's a good size. I don't like to go any bigger than a 2500 series. This is just kind of my staple there of what I run. 2000 or 2500 series, somewhere around there. Anything bigger than that is a bit much for me. Anything smaller just kind of defeats the purpose, as I want to be able to take up as much line as I can. Other than this, real basic reel, 10 bearing system. I can't really remember what the drag is in it, but it's an all-around great all-purpose reel for this, and it's a little more stout than some other spinning reels are, and I like the drag system in. I'll see if you can hear it real quick. It's a little more, it's a little tougher, I feel. The drag isn't necessarily, some drags are just like, they're not super smooth. They kind of get a little jerky. This one, I just feel like the Regal gives, for the price point, the best drag smoothness. This reel only comes in at $100. I can't even remember the exact price of it. I'll flash it down here for you. But it's really cheap reel, and I really like it for a shaky head. Now, that's my little bit of a larger shaky head. This is my smaller shaky head. This is a 1/4 ounce shaky head. And I also throw this on an old 18, obviously. This is the old 18 Ambush series. It's a medium as well. But this is a moderate fast rod. Does it really matter? No, I don't think it does. A lot of people have their preferences as to what action they like in their rod. I'm going to stay in that moderate fast to fast area for my shaky head rods. This is the Ambush series versus the Hollow Point series. The Ambush series is the cheapest, the lowest. I'm not trying to call it a low grade because it's actually a really high grade rod for the price point, but it's our what's the word I'm looking for? Entry level, I guess is what we'll call it. It's the entry level rod. So the moderate fast was fine with me. It didn't really bother me that much. So it's still got good tip to it, a lot of backbone to it, but this is only a 7-foot rod. That one, the Hollow Point was a 7'3". This is a 7 foot. Doesn't make a difference. Some people it does. To me, it doesn't really. The only reason why I like it a little bit better is because it is a smaller shaky head that I'm using. I'm using a 1/4 ounce shaky head instead. Now I paired it. I didn't go over a line yet because I use the same line, so I'll go over that in just a second. But I paired that. Anybody that follows me on Instagram knows what that bad boy is right there. That is the Shimano Stratic. That is my all-time favorite spinning reel, probably. It is a mean spinning reel. It's super light. It looks good. It does the job. Absolutely love this spinning reel. It's a high-end reel. It is very expensive. They don't make it anymore. They are making it. It's the Vanford. I can't remember. Some stupid name. I can't remember what it's called now. But it's no longer the Shimano Stratic. It's starting to rain now. If you guys can't hear me, I'm sorry. I'll try and up the audio. Hopefully it's not that difficult. It shouldn't rain that hard, honestly. But anyway, so we were using, we use braid as backing on all of this. Suffix Advanced braid, 20-pound braid, and then we connect it with Suffix Advanced fluorocarbon. 10-pound fluorocarbon is what I use for the leader. I go anywhere from a 10-foot to 20-foot leader. I like to have enough line in there to where it really, I don't have to worry about the braid being down there and being visible because this is a clear water finesse technique. So guys, that's kind of my recap as to the 2020 Big Bass Tour on Douglas Lake. It really wasn't that great of a tournament for me, and I'm sorry I wasn't able to bring you guys more. on the water action. But we will do some shaky head tutorials, a little bit more on the shaky heads and how I fish them on the water and all that jazz and what I target with them. Later on, maybe in a few weeks, we'll do that. But guys, if you like this video, do me a huge favor. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Leave me a comment down in the comment section below. Let me know if you guys fished the Big Bass Tour. Let me know what you all did all your damage on. And let me know if I just didn't have the right fish and y'all were still killing them on water ploppers and stuff like that. Guys, I really appreciate it. Take care, y'all.